Is streaming harder than a 9 to 5? Oh my God.
So my argument here is that streaming and social media creation is harder than a 9 to 5.
Facts.
Nah, it's not facts, bro. 9 to 5 is way harder, homie.
Why do you say that?
Because you gotta get up every motherfucking day, go to the motherfucking bullshit job, and slave for fucking pennies.
See, that's the thing is you're right. You get up every day, you go through the motions. You don't have to get a good night's sleep. You don't have to be focused. You don't have to be locked in. You wake up, you go, you flip some patties, maybe you sign a few envelopes, answer a few phone calls. With streaming and social media creation, you have to be on your game 24/7. It's like a switch that never
when you're a
turns
mail
off.
carrier, I'm a mail carrier, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. I get treated like shit every motherfucking day.
We
I'm
have to
still
deal with
slaving
thousands,
every day.
tens of thousands of people
Bullshit.
critiquing every little thing.
Lacey gotta stop. As a person who's engaged to someone who has a regular 9 to 5, the stories my girl tells versus the stories I have to tell, it is night and day. She's talking about in real life verbal harassment from people because she works a customer facing job, and I'm over here talking about comment section on a YouTube video. I'm sorry. Not to minimize what we do and mental health and all that different stuff. It's a completely different ballgame.
Every decision we make, every thought we have.
You guys got it made, man. I wish I had it made like y'all.
We don't have to go sign a few envelopes and put them in a mailbox.
Man,
we
you
have
got
to
it
be,
gravy, bro.
What's the next trend?
Because
What's the next
shit I
idea?
go through every
Oh my
day.
God, I have to stream today.
And I got dogs that want to bite my ass
And
every
you have
day.
lunch breaks. You have lunch breaks. We don't have breaks. We're on 24/7.
You got
Lacey is gassing it. You can go to McDonald's right now. You can wake up at 1 p.m. right now because you don't have a boss. I am so pro-creator, damn near to a fault at times. And I do think there's a bunch of different conversations to be had. I do think a lot of people who do not know about content creation tend to minimize it too much. But we also have to find the line of understanding our privilege in all of this and why and how we're in a privileged position to be doing content full-time specifically. Because that's the conversation. A full-time 9 to 5er versus a full-time streamer, which one's a harder job? That's the real conversation we're having.
Energy, 24/7.
I wish I could be at home like you and get back and get paid big money.
We're not even at home. We're walking around.
Man,
We're walking around doing things, going to parties, doing all this stuff.
I got to slave just for not even $100,000 a year. I got to work double overtime. Bullshit.
Okay, what about this? You're guaranteed to get paid. You have a
I'm not.
steady rate.
You're not guaranteed?
If I don't work, I don't get paid. It's simple as that.
Yeah, but you have a guaranteed pay.
Guaranteed pay if you work.
I
That's
don't.
your decision if you don't want to work.
I got to work at the job for
If
years.
I don't go live, I don't get paid either.
Collect.
We don't got to deal with people spamming L's.
Yes, we have to keep.
Adapt's trolling. I don't even know how much of this video I can truly take seriously because this is Clip Farm Central. All right, this is the Clip Farming group of the fucking century. I don't know how much of this I can take seriously. I will be on Lacey's side on this front because one, he's been making this point a lot, and as a person who has had the battle between choosing a regular 9 to 5 and streaming, and honestly, I'm like a hybrid. I'm in between right now in my personal life. I do get where he's coming from of like, damn, if I had a 9 to 5, I would just know how much I'm getting paid. Like, full stop. With content creation, your monthly income changes every single year. You can, make $50K one year. The next year, you can make $300K, and you don't really know the lifestyle that you should be living, based off of how much you're making. So that is like a hard reality of content creation that you have to deal with that regular 9 to 5ers just don't have to, you know what I'm saying? But I'll also say this, I really have a better sense of job stability being a content creator than having a 9 to 5 because I know if I fail, a lot of it falls on me and I have no one else to blame but me. With a 9 to 5, what happens up top, what happens at your company, what happens with your manager, company shifts, all these different things, you can't really control that. And you just have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine you have to be high energy. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? You guys like this stream?
That's me 24/7. I'd rather do that.
So why don't you become a streamer?
Man, that's what I want to do. F that. F this 9 to 5 shit.
If streaming is so easy, how come every single person in this seat is not a streamer?
People are lazy. They want to put in the work.
That's their fault.
All right, Chris.
Why do you think a 9 to 5 job is not harder than what you do?
Well, you're guaranteed to pay.
Guaranteed to
Yeah,
pay.
they're all saying that.
That makes it harder.
Yeah. No, it makes it easier for you
Makes
guys.
it easier because we have a guaranteed pay.
100%. You have
Makes
security.
it easier
Talk about
for
raises.
Makes it easier for 9 to 5 people to have a job because their pay is
Yeah,
guaranteed.
when you go to work every day, everyone's
So you're
like,
basing the ease of a job just on somebody getting paid regularly? Is that what you...
well, let's just say that comes to perspective. If you say someone who works food, if you someone who works a doctor, it's obviously different. But if you're talking abroad, 9 to 5, someone who doesn't need a degree, yeah, it's way easier than being a streamer.
How so?
Well, it's because you're guaranteed and you don't need any crazy knowledge. You don't need to go to school for most jobs, like certain things like a 9 to 5. If you wanted to go work at Foot Locker, I could go to Foot Locker, apply, and then next thing you know, I'm selling shoes for pay every single hour.
So according to you, a job...
So this is my problem with this whole conversation. It's generalizations on both fronts. Generalizations on both fronts. What Kai, what Ronaldo, what, Silky is doing is completely different from what a streamer with 10 viewers is doing. Like, it's just, the stakes are different, the content's different, all these different things. Even within that, what a gamer streamer is doing is completely different from what an IRL streamer is doing. Even within IRL, because IRL is just streaming in real life. One person could be chilling at their house all fucking day and just walking around their local neighborhood. Another person could be doing world tours, right? On the other side, a 9 to 5 encompasses damn near every single other non-entrepreneurial job out there, right? Like, a 9 to 5 can't, like what Ronaldo said, be working at a Foot Locker and being a surgeon. There's public-facing jobs, there's corporate jobs, there's remote jobs, there's in-person jobs. Like, there's... A 9 to 5 could mean so many different things. To generalize it, to me, is this whole conversation is absolutely insane. Just from that lens alone.
Is easier or harder based on the guaranteed pay? That's one aspect of it.
Working
right?
at
Yeah.
Foot Locker,
Okay.
working at a job like Panera or wherever Lacey is easier than a streamer, yes, because a streamer you have to come up with ideas, you have to stay relevant.
Oh, we're talking about ideas now. Okay,
Yeah,
we're talking about pay.
Okay, so what do you want to
that's
start
one
with though?
way that
But it
it's
doesn't
easier.
make. But
Well,
you're not
pay.
even. You keep switching it. So why
Oh,
don't
I'm
you
not
answer my
switching
question?
anything.
You 100% are.
Yeah.
So how is it harder if you're guaranteed to pay? I worked for 4 years of streaming. I didn't make $1.
Well, what's your definition of hard? That's the thing. It's like what
Stuff
is
that
difficult.
you need creativity. You need to
Okay.
get out of your circle, comfort
Sure.
zone.
Yeah.
You need to be able to actually make people believe what you believe in the sense of like, oh, this is good content. Do you watch any TV shows?
I watch YouTube.
Okay, you watch
so
YouTube.
much YouTube.
So it's the same thing. So the people that
Absolutely,
you're
yeah.
entertained by are the people like us, just for a different audience.
That's true, but you're talking about entertainment as a job. We could talk about entertainment.
This is entertainment,
as a job.
but this
yeah,
is entertainment.
Entertainment
But
as
my
a
question
job
to
doesn't
you
have
is
any
why?
guarantees. Absolutely.
So do you truthfully, you could sit here and think that working at like a Foot Locker or something like that, I'm just using that because that's the best
Sure.
example,
Yeah.
is harder than a streamer?
It depends on what you are saying the word hard means to you. Because
In the
there's
sense of
hard
everyday
physically,
activity.
there's
Because some people
hard-
around here said, oh, I got to wake up at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, we have to do the same thing.
Sure.
Some people do that.
And you deal with yourself.
No, we deal with millions
when
of people.
you're creating that content and you have your phone,
Okay.
you're dealing with you and yourself in that phone.
Okay, so what happens?
You're not dealing with
Not true.
coworkers and-
We gotta stop. Oh my god. I'm gonna say that a lot. I'm gonna say that a lot in this video. It might annoy y'all, but we have to stop, bro. We have to stop. The idea that someone working at Foot Locker or Panera or McDonald's, simply because of the fact that they know what they're getting paid every single day, is having an easier job than a streamer because they have to think of ideas and stream to thousands of people virtually. No, bro. No. You wake up on your terms, right? You get to think of ideas on your terms, even on other creative fields. That's not a privilege that other creators have. And then when you execute the ideas, 95% of the time, it's what? Doing a cooking tutorial, doing a mukbang, doing reacts. Come on, bro. Come on. Hosting a party. Come on, bro. Girl content. Come on, bro. Come on. We gotta stop. And the reason why this annoys me too is because content creation, to their point, because I think they'll say this exact same thing. It's something that specifically the older generation has kept on minimizing and minimizing and minimizing as this thing that's just extremely easy. Everyone can do that, which I agree on the streamers. This isn't a job that everyone can just do. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone is built for streaming. There is a level of skill involved to this. There is a level of entertainment factor that you either have or don't have. You know, growing a platform repeatedly throughout the years takes a lot of skill. At that point, it is not just luck. All these different things. But we can advocate for more respect while not minimizing what everyone else is doing. Especially when 99% of your chat are people that either work a 9-to-5 currently or going to be working a 9-to-5. That's just how I look at it.
That's not true at all. I have an editor that I pay who relies on me. If I stop doing any type of content, he loses a job.
So when you go to your job, when you go to work, rather than punching a card, you pick up your phone or you turn on a camera.
Okay, so when you punch the card, let's say, who's above you? Your boss, right? What happens if he just takes the business and he says, oh, we're not doing it anymore? You lose your job.
If the work is picking up a phone or turning on a camera as opposed to going in with a bunch of people and having to multitask tasks you have to do throughout your shift and deal with your coworkers and interpersonal thing. Tell me how much you do of that stuff while you are actually doing your job for however many number of hours that you are talking and typing and shitting and eating and all that stuff that everybody's watching you do.
Go ahead.
No, but there's actually a mental aspect.
I understand that,
No. Let me hear me out. Camaraderie. Like you have like a group of people, like friendships, relationships, which is the most important thing in life. So do you build that with your coworkers and stuff like that?
Sorry, bye. See you later.
Seeing a lot of flags.
So I actually did content creation starting at the age of 14. When I moved to LA, I gained like 10,000 followers off the bat, and I was very young, and I started working with different brands.
Okay.
I totally understand the mental aspect. It's just that you guys can afford to say, hey, I'm gonna go wherever for 2 weeks, and that can be content, that can be your job, and you actually get to relax and travel the world and have other opportunities.
You're just saying a lot of points.
There's no relaxation.
Just so I can answer a couple. So you were saying like,
I agree with what she's saying in terms of like, as a person with no boss, you can take breaks whenever the fuck you want. Again, I'm not making the point of, oh, you guys gotta have lunch breaks and PTO, we don't. I get that. I'll say this to throw bail on streamers. I don't know the last time I had a vacation and truly felt like I can have it off. Like I'm talking about not work at all, not think about my analytics. Maybe that's just me being a workaholic, but I don't know the last time I truly had a vacation. I'm about to go on next week and just be off. I think that's a pain point that a lot of these streamers are really just trying to articulate, but the way they articulating it in this video is just ass. There is a true problem with content creation and really just entrepreneurship low-key of not having a line between when you're on and when you're off. You know what I'm saying? Especially with live streaming, and you can make the case that they brought it upon themselves. Like, you don't know when you're off and when you're on. Because even when you're not live, even when you're not actively creating content, you still gotta, you know, manage emails, think about the next idea, do market research, all these different things. Meanwhile, if you work a 9-to-5, once you clock out, the rest of the day, you can watch Netflix, you can work on your hobbies. You know, when you have PTO, you know for a fact, during this time, y'all can't talk to me about shit. I'm not responsible for shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the difference. I think that's a valid difference to point out.
To go back to the beginning, you were saying like you can manage like your time with like relationship. Was that correct? Like you have your girlfriend when you go home. Like
I fortunately have a support system, but I every day like ask myself how I would have been able to do it without.
Example. So you said 14 you started. I started at 16. For about 3 years, I was making money, and it slowly went super up, and then all of a sudden it went down. Right? Yeah. I lost everything, fell off completely. About to myself. Real story. This is a real story. This isn't a joke. Why are you smiling?
We've all been there. Every 9-to-5 worker has been there.
So
that's
going
why.
back to what you said, how you have a support system. I moved across the country from my parents at the age of 19, lived alone in an apartment, was paying a certain amount of money every single month, and I was losing money. I wasn't making enough money to pay my, like I had money in my bank for my rent, but I wasn't making more than my rent.
Yeah.
So I was losing.
You were in the red every month.
I was in the red every single month. Girlfriend broke up with me at the time, so alone across the country. So it's like when you're alone too and everything's going down, where's my support system?
I don't like why she's laughing, bro.
Okay, so I have a question. You said that for the first 4 years you started streaming, you had no income. How are you able to survive?
I lived with my mom. I was 16.
So that to a certain extent is privilege.
That's privilege?
It is.
But my mom How's that privilege? Before you
It's
go
privilege because you have the support system to have a place.
Not them laughing their ass off. Oh, Ron, man. Yes, it is absolutely a privilege for you to, one, pursue your content creation dreams, and then when you fall off, you have parents to, you know what I'm saying, support you, that you can just move back in. That is a privilege. Full stop. Full stop.
To live.
Well, at 15, 16, I would hope I have parents that would live with me.
Yeah,
That's
but
a
a lot of
privilege.
people don't, and they have to
What
take
is that?
9
That's
to
a whole
5s.
different discussion. So a lot of people don't have houses.
A lot of
when they
people
working
don't
9 to
have
5s?
families that support them or accept
But that's a
them.
whole different conversation. What does that have to do with the 9 to 5?
Because they still need to survive. So the fact that you were given
So
the
how did you move to LA?
I moved across the country as well with my mom when I was 15 years old.
Do you not think that's privileged?
I mean, we moved into a 1-bedroom in Santa Monica and shared a trundle bed, so.
Okay, well, I was reselling shoes to afford my mom's mortgage and everything.
I get it. I've definitely helped my family out in times where I was able to, but I also had to have my family support me in order for me to have certain opportunities to make money in the first place. So if you didn't have content creation, what would you be doing?
It's a great question. I don't know, because I didn't set my goals that way. I set up my life to that. I know I would do what I want to do. If we all got paid the same every single month, let's say just in simple terms, we all got paid $100,000 a month, a crazy amount of money. Would you guys still, truthfully, I'm asking a serious question, would you guys say that all of our jobs are harder than each other, truthfully?
Yeah, if she was a nurse, she had to go to medical school for years just to be able to have her
But
foot
she
in the
knew
door.
that she was getting security because she was going to be a nurse, correct?
Not secure.
How is it not secure if you knew what you were going to do?
Nothing secure.
Nothing's secure. You just proved my point. But you just proved my point.
No job is secure, but content creation gives you the ability to have those savings, to have an audience. And even if you do lose all your followers one day, even if
let's say I lost it all tomorrow.
You still have residuals of your previous viral videos. Even if people are hating on you and shitting on you, that's still adding to what goes into your pocket.
There's literally doctors who do one surgery and make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Because they were trained for decades and they had to go to school.
So were we.
You went to school to be a content creator?
Streamer University.
Hey, Ron, funny for that, man. Yo, I don't know if that's how Bren cut this video or if that's just how they cut it. Yo, Streamer University is a funny point, bro. That's a funny point. I think after watching this video, it just seemed like for the streamer side, they just kept on harping, ultimately at one point, is the lack of certainty when it comes to content creation. And I truly, trust me, do feel that. There's so many things that are uncertain in content creation, from the amount of money that you make, the following and the traction that you're gonna have, all these different things. And it feels like this thing where you truly just can't turn it off. Like I get all the gripes that they have with content creation, but having a stable income does not immediately mean that just having a stable income makes your job easier. Because even in content creation, Kick has damn near tried to do that, right? With their Kick program or whatever, you can get paid an hourly rate for streaming. That doesn't mean that they're inherently doing something easier than a Twitch streamer just because they're getting paid an hourly rate. Does that make sense? And as a person, again, who has worked for content creators, is a content creator, and has a current 9 to 5 dealing with other content creators, there is a level of stability that being a content creator provides said people that isn't really talked about enough. Because people's channels don't just get deleted one day, unless you do something crazy, which you might deserve it at that point. They don't just get deleted one day and now your source of income is just completely cooked. It's a gradual thing. It's a gradual process. Even the concept of falling off, again, your numbers don't just plummet one day, like full stop. With a job, you're either making money or you're not. Like, it's pretty black and white in that sense. There's no, oh, I can turn it around. Oh, I can come back from this within that same job. It's either you have this job or you find another job. Full stop. But with that being said, let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. And I'm out of here. Peace.